Greg McKenna here. I'm the managing member of Nutmeg Pharmacies. I am reaching out to you today to help you understand your health insurance and the roles of those involved, namely the PBMs or pharmacy benefit managers, Big Pharma, the pharmaceutical companies, and government, both local and federal. This is a series of 3 videos, and this one is entitled The Unholy Alliance and what this means for our healthcare quality and increased cost. We all have to pay for it and live with it. So you should know where your money in the healthcare system is flowing. So how does our healthcare system work? Well, in the ideal world, it should look like this. Our government should be at the top, directing our health insurers and PBMs to make sure that we lower costs for care and the medication we need. And the government should be negotiating drug costs with big pharmaceutical companies that make them. So, what's the reality? Well, the PBMs and the health insurers who own them are the real ones on top of the triangle, and they dictate to Big Pharma which of the drugs appear on the pharmacy formularies, along with the cost, and they get the government to legislate PBM-friendly laws so they can maximize the money they make from everyone else. And although there are many PBMs out there, the biggest 3 PBMs, Express Scripts, Caremark, and Optum, control 80% of the healthcare market. So rather than help lower care, which they were originally designed to do, instead they are major orchestrators responsible for raising the cost of healthcare in our nation. They are the ultimate power brokers. Let me provide a brief overview of each. The PBMs. They are the contracting arm for the pharmacy network and for pharmacy reimbursement. They contract rebates from the pharmaceutical companies of around 30% of the cost of monthly brand name medications. The PBM decides what medications you can take, and your doctor can only prescribe what's on the pharmacy formulary, which might not be the same drug they originally prescribed for you. The PBM manages the flow of the money in the system for the health insurer. Now, let's look at Big Pharma, or the pharmaceutical industry. They are being charged by the PBMs up to 30% a month for their medication to be available to people like you, their clients. So to make sure they stay in business, they simply raise the prices of their drugs as a result. Take a common blood thinning drug like Eliquis. It used to be a few $100s a month, but Bristol Myers Squibb, who makes Eliquis, has to pay $180 a month to each of the 3 PBMs, which means in 2024, a bottle costs $600. As a result, every year the pharmaceutical companies raise their prices of many of their drugs, so they stay in business and the drug remains available for you and me to use. And the more popular the branded drug is, the higher the cost. In 2024, drugs available in the United States are set to go up in price, all because of the PBMs. And finally, the government. Did you ever wonder about why we all have different health insurance plans and our elected officials? Did you ever ask who is advantaged in the Medicare Advantage plans? What was once a function of the government has been handed over to private companies. They, the private company, pay themselves first. It's the PBMs, of course. And despite new legislation allowing government and Medicare to negotiate drug prices that you've heard about in the news media, that's just for 10 drugs, and those prices won't take effect for another 2 years. So now you know why your health care and medications cost so much. What can you do? In the next 2 videos, I'll explain more about the PBMs and Big Pharma and the government, so you understand even more about this unholy alliance we all have to face. But you can also take action now and contact your local legislator and tell them you want them to ask questions about PBMs and why they're controlling your health care and that it needs to stop.